Well, good morning. It's May 22nd. It's sort of late in the season for my epis, but I thought I'd come out in the garden and show you a little bit of what's blooming. We had a warm week last week, and the prior week was cool, so the warm week will always sort of stimulate the blooms to pop out. This is Frida Kahlo. She's just so beautiful. This is a Watts-Pittman hybrid. Interesting story behind the Watts hybrids. There was a man named Harold Watts who belonged to the Epiphyllum Society. Nobody really knew him. And when he passed away, the president at the time, Galen Pittman, went to his home. The wife invited him, or the widow, I should say, invited Galen over to help himself to the plants. Now, usually when this happens, members from the Epi Society will go out to somebody's home who's passed away, and they'll see a lot of no ID plants, plants that are in poor condition, maybe dead and dying. So they weren't too hopeful, but when they got to Harold Watts' home, his plants were staged in various areas, and he had them very well organized, and he had done a lot of hybridizing, and he had meticulous records. He had record books detailing all his crosses, and all his crosses were labeled. So Galen thought, well, what the heck, I'll take them home to my growing area and I'll grow them out and see, what happens. So this is one of the hybrids that was developed, or that was grown out, I should say, by Galen. This is a sister seedling to Doris Pittman, which is also blooming today. And of course, this Frida Kahlo was named for the famous artist Frida Kahlo, who had the big eyebrows that were so prominent. And I guess the way the petals sort of fold kind of reminded Galen of Frida Kahlo. So a little bit of interesting trivia. And this is a little bit of a later bloomer, later in the year. You can see I've got a couple more buds here. I did have, there's one about to open way back over here. And I did have a couple blooms earlier in the season. Gosh, look, we're going to even have a flower in June. I'm sure that smaller bud will provide a nice bloom in June for me. So this, as I said, this plant, Frida Kahlo, really loves my conditions. So does the sister seedling, which is Doris Pittman, which Galen Pittman named for his mother, Doris. So let's take a look at Doris. And this is Doris Pittman. It also is sort of ruffly. I believe one of the parents from this cross is Virginia Strong, which was known to be a ruffly flower. And I understand some growers still have Virginia Strong in their collections. I do not have it, and I haven't personally seen it for quite a long time. But isn't Doris beautiful? I just love that peachy pink. And we've got another bloom down here. It is a really gorgeous flower, and it's definitely large and ruffly. It's probably about, 8 or 9 inches across. Our criteria at the Epi Society for a large is a 7 to 9 inch across flower. And she is sure a beauty. I actually took this plant to our show. It was quite an ordeal getting it into the car, but it had only one bloom on it. And I thought I'd show the whole plant. It's kind of nice for the public to see how these plants bloom and grow. And when you take a plant to the show, the public can see. A lot of times people will see our blooms and they'll think they're water lilies, or they'll think that the stem of the bloom is what you plant to grow a new flower or to grow a new plant. So I like to show the public who know nothing about these plants how they grow. I think it's important. That's part of our mission, is education. So this has still got quite a few buds also. So that is our very lovely seedling sister to Frida Kahlo. That's Doris Pittman. And I missed showing you rococo, but I'll insert a still. This was such a beautiful flower. I've still got a couple more buds. Rococo that I got from Pacific Epiphyllum Nursery. Here is the bloom on rococo from a day or two ago. I've still got some buds on this plant. As a matter of fact, this plant has not bloomed yet. This is very late. This is Suzanne. Suzanne is a really gorgeous, gorgeous deep red. So we'll be eagerly anticipating. Let's see, I've got 2 buds there, 2 buds back there, a bud here, another bud here. And you can see the deep, deep red. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous flower, and we'll see that later on when it's blooming. This is Scott Hazelton. It's named for one of the founders of the Epiphyllum Society of America. It's a Nebel hybrid from the 1930s. The only description given in the registry for this particular flower is that it's red, but it does have fuchsia flushing in the petals. Got a pretty petal shape. So it is one of the very old hybrids named for Scott Hazelton, one of the founders of the Epiphyllum Society of America, and he was also a very prominent member of the Cactus and Succulent Society of America, and their journal, Hazeltonia, is named for Scott Hazelton. This is the flower of Scott Hazelton when it was a little fresher yesterday. Deutschland was blooming. I'll have to insert a still. That was yesterday's bloom. Fading now. This is Deutschland, another Nebel hybrid. And here we have Kiwi Treasure Box. It's a sort of a medium bloom. It's not large. It's very full and a very heavy flower. Very pretty color combination. I think this is going to be the only bloom I have on this plant this year. It was really at its peak beauty yesterday. It's starting to fade a little bit now. So that is Kiwi Treasure Box. Here we've got a bud on Evening Delight that'll be opening probably for tomorrow. I've got another big bud here someplace. I have a big bud here on Autumn Pink, which from its name I'm sure you could figure out that it's a late bloomer, sometimes even late summer and autumn. So we'll have more blooms to look forward to in the days ahead, even though it's late in the season. And here we have Evening Delight opened up the next day. Such a pretty bloom. You can really see the parent, Waikiki Rainbow, a very similar bloom to this. But that's Evening Delight. Super gorgeous. Got an extra large too. Here's our Autumn Pink opened up in all its glory. I'm telling you, you just can't beat these cactus flowers. They are spectacular. Simply warm your heart. The bees really love Miss Doris. Couple more Frida-Kahlos open today. So even though each bloom only lasts for maybe a couple of days, when you've got a nice big plant like this and you get a succession of blooms, you've got a nice display for a long time. We also have 3 oranges open today. Wow. Super stunning. That's a Phyllis Flexig hybrid. And this plant is sort of sentimental to me because I got it from Galen Pittman. So there we have 3 oranges. Sadly, I missed this bloom on Yellow Tang, but it's just the first. This is a late blooming variety. And I've got another bud here that's going to be opening soon, so we'll come back and catch that, and I'll include it in this video. And I've got a couple more buds over here on the same plant. Kind of hard to see them there, but they're from Yellow Tang also. Oh, I've got another third one up there and another one back there. So this one is just coming. Oh, and another one. Wow, I've got a lot of buds on Yellow Tang, so we'll have plenty to see from Yellow Tang, especially this one. It looks like it's starting to open already. It is May 24th, and we've got a few more late season blooms to add to the video. And this is Rococo. I included a still earlier in this video, but we have a beautiful new bloom. It's a really pretty cultivar. This is an old Fort Nobar. And I love the watermelon color and the fuchsia flush in the throat. Beautiful. Here we have Carbon County, a hybrid from Evelyn Cherokee. I love Carbon County, and I also love Independence Rock. I own both of those varieties, and I really like beautiful whites. I've also got Golden Pearl from Evelyn. So that is Carbon County. Here's the Evening Delight from yesterday, and we've got a beautiful fresh bloom from this morning. And this is another of the wonderful late blooming varieties, Yellow Tang. Such a lovely full flower and a beautiful vibrant yellow color. I've got about another 5 or 6 buds still on Yellow Tang here. I'm going to see if I can get this in better light. We've got an overcast morning here, and I'd like you to really get a better idea of how the bloom looks with proper lighting. There we go. How's that? Really a beauty. And we also have today a bloom on Casper. Very pretty, a Dawn Burnett hybrid. The plant's kind of spiny, so I have it over here in the corner. I don't like to fool around with it too much. But there is our bloom on Casper. I believe the parents are Alpine White and Lola Leah. And it looks pretty much like Alpine White and Loelia. So you don't need to have all three. I just have Casper. So that's our little tour of some of my late season blooms. We're kind of late in May, but we have a lot of varieties that like to bloom later, especially when the weather's a little cooler. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk to you all again in the next video. Bye now.